quiet start to a brand new month of April. Yesterday at the fixed income marketplace where we trade treasuries, bond treasuries and bonds and all of that. Let's talk to Ramat Baba, who is a chief dealer at FBN Quest Merchant Bank. Ramat, it's good to have you.
Good morning, Bosin.
Thank you. A very nice day. Thank you so much. It looks like a very quiet day at the fixed income space on Monday. What does that signify? You folks are tiptoeing into the new month?
It's been pretty much quiet. Even from last week, right after the bond auction last week, market activities have remained very low, both in the treasury bills and in the bond space. On treasury bills, we've seen pockets of buys, and that's really banks buying up just to utilize the FAC coming into the system. FAC hit the system yesterday about 279 billion. Pretty much nothing much has really happened after the bond auction.
Okay, so where do we go from here? What's your playbook at FBN Quest for the fixed income market for the new month?
For the new month, okay, last week the MPC cut rates to cut the MPR to 13.5, that's from 14%. Expectations from a lot of market participants was that rates were going to trend south. Yes, the next day, of course, we saw yields trending lower at the bond auction with the stop rates going at 13.5%. As a result, we saw the fixed income market, bonds especially, we saw yields trending significantly south. But that was really short-lived because there were a few people who offered better, probably people who were long on the bonds and they needed to offload positions. They sold, and in a short while, we saw a bit of reversals again in the market. And currently, as I speak, yields are actually higher than they were pre-auction on bonds. But in treasury bills, yields have been slightly lower, like I said, and I think that's because of the liquidity coming into the system. The system is currently over 500 billion up. FAC hit the system yesterday, about 297 billion. That's the estimate, and as a result, we expect activities to be driven by liquidity in the treasury bill space.
Yeah, okay. That sounds very nice. So that means you've got all this liquidity. If you push all of that, about $500 billion, to the current market week, where do you see rates moving down the rest of the week until Thursday? Are we looking at any mature treasuries repayment on your calendar for Thursday?
Yes. There are maturities of 108 billion on Thursday. We don't know if the CBN will be mopping up. There hasn't been an auction in the last 2 weeks. Even though today we were lucky, there's an auction today with 200 billion on offer. There's a Treasury Bills primary auction tomorrow. 95 billion will be maturing, and of course the same amount is on offer, so it's pretty much a rollover. So what should be driving the market is how much will the CBN be mopping out of the system today and possibly on Thursday again when more maturities come into the system.
Okay, so what's the yield curve looking like on Friday? Give me some heads up.
Okay, last week Friday, first of all, there was the retail intervention, and as a result, we actually saw yields, rates in the money market going as high as 12–14%. Into yesterday, FAC the system, like I said, and we saw rates tanking to 4% to 6% levels. Today, we expect the same thing to happen. On the bond side, yields have remained about 14.2 levels to about 14.10 levels on most of the maturities. Not much is happening there. On treasury bills for the 1 year paper, market is trading at about 12.65 to 12.75 levels. Nothing much is really happening. Luckily, at today's home auction, there is a maturity. There is a long-end maturity. That's, I think, 252-day bill is on offer. So, of course, we'll see where the CBN is going to sell it, which will be another indication of where the stop rate will likely be tomorrow for the 1 year paper.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on the yield curve with you. Thank you, Ramat Baba, Chief Dealer for Fixed Income at FBN Quest Merchant Bank, live to us from FMDQ Exchange Place. Let's go back to the home of stocks, what you call equities by another name. Temple Ashaju, our business correspondent, live to us from the Nigerian Stock Exchange trading floor. Temple, okay, I got a red here. You got a blue tie. So you were trying to. Yes, you were trying to knock me off with a green tie yesterday. I remember that. Now, okay, so. Okay. So let's talk about.
Also, the green tie was for the green bonds that was getting listed yesterday, actually.
You were compliant yesterday. I didn't get to know that, but I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you around the corner. But again, where are we today as far as the market is concerned? Is it a red or a blue?
I think a lot of investors are now being cautious They just don't want to get into the market at this point in time due to some kind of trends playing out in the market. The sell pressure has continued, even though a lot of investors had thought that by now it would have reduced and would have been able to see more of bargain hunting. But that hasn't happened. Instead, the sell pressure has persisted, of course, due to the fact that the earnings that have been declared have really not been impressive. Some companies have been, a lot of their earnings, the dividends have been really, really flat. Didn't change from what was paid out in 2017, even though a lot of investors had thought that, the events that played out last year would have given a kind of rise to their dividend payouts this year. But that wasn't the case. So that was disappointing to investors and, of course, the whole lot of traders. When the numbers come in, they then sell off. In some cases, you even have some companies that had declared some high dividends, and then all of a sudden it shrunk. They had to recall and then post another number, something that is even lower, much lower, some 50% lower than what was initially declared. So all of that has been putting off some investors, and the fact that a couple of companies also had some litigation stories.
You talk about the earnings, a few of the news, that's the Access Bank, whatever. Let's get out of that. Let's look at Oando, for example, which is from the oil and gas space. The news seems to be getting the front line, front pages as it were. So let's bring in the Oando here, reporting net profit about 42%, revenue higher, about 37%, according to this indigenous oil and gas company. And then reporting that is debt portfolio is shrinking. What much details about this Oando do we have?
Exactly. Also, the point that they actually came up last year rather with some kind of debt reduction strategy, especially in the upstream segment of their market by some 70%, was very, very impressive. It drove up the performance. They had, of course, last year too, we had some increase in commodity price, which is what they produce, the oil and gas that they produce, and of course their production went up some 10% last year. So all of that contributed massively to their performance for the greater part of last year, which is why they're able to post that. The fact that they've also been able to come off the whole purchase of ConocoPhillips and the debt side of things regarding that particular purchase and that project was also contributory to what they had last year for the year, calendar year 2018. So it's the reason why they were able to post this performance, although there was no dividend declaration. But I mean, the fact that they are reducing their debt, I think it's now standing, so 2017 was 238 billion naira, but as at last year, I think it has reduced to some 211 or 210 billion naira, which is a good score for them as an indigenous company, Bosun.
Yes, yes, yes. I think the biggest story investors are looking for in Oando is first reduce the debt. Then when you claw out of that, then you get back on the dividend drive. Thank you so much, Temple. Have a great day. Let's get together tomorrow, Wednesday, and continue from here. Temple Ashaja, our business correspondent. We thank you, our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. We're back in the next 24 hours.